What do you mean? Alright. Hey Internet, it's Jessica and welcome to Seduce Me the episode. So Michaela released Matthew's episode, which is called Simon's Revenge, so I have no idea what's gonna happen. Can only assume Simon is like doing like mischief around everything. So let's see how this is gonna go. Also like Zaberu at the bottom here. Before we get started with this game, if you guys would like to download the game yourself, there is a link in the description where you can grab that. And also, if you would like to support the creator, Michaela Laws, who is also the voice of Diana, I'll leave a link to all her Patreon and stuff. And if you can, donate to her Patreon so she can make more games like this. Anyway, let's get started. I expected many things to happen in my life. I expected to graduate, follow my dreams eventually, and live a happy life with the person I grew to love. Well, I got just that with my absolutely adorable incubus, Matthew. Matthew and I had been together for a year. We were happy, we were in love, everything was perfect between us. Is this before they got married or after? I'm not sure. Being with Matthew was like a dream come true. We would design toys for the Anderson Toy Company together, and whenever we were free, we would play video games until the pillows of our bed called us to sleep. I always awoke with a goofy grin and would go to bed happy as a kid after a full day of fun. That was the joy I got with being with Matthew. However, there were a couple times in my time with Matthew where life wasn't totally full of laughter. Great.
Simon! Get back here!
Huh? Matthew? Simon, our dear pet of sorts, was always a handful and managed to add a little spontaneity into our days. Often he'd run around the mansion exploring new nooks and crannies and to find the little gems for his treasures he hoarded in the corner of the kitchen. Sometimes that wasn't enough, and he gets started going after Matthew's things, making things disappear one by one underneath Matthew's nose. Being busy and distracted, Matthew would never notice until the amount of missing items piled to noticeable standards. And sometimes it took a lot of theft to get Matthew's attention.
Give that back, Simon!
Matthew, wait, hold on. What did he take this time? Usually I was able to help. For some reason, Simon imprinted himself on me, treating me with a fair amount of respect and obedience. That's nice. Whether it came down to getting something for Matthew from Simon, I was always a mediator between the man and the toy. This time, though, Matthew wasn't eager to get my help.
No, I got it. Simon!
Are you sure? What? Alright, I guess you're gonna slide away then. Before I could ask why, Matthew was off in a cartoon-like chase with Simon on the second floor. I had to take a moment to absorb what happened. Did Matthew really say no to help with Simon? It was practically unheard of. Simon was like a mortal enemy of the house. Now that Sam was gone, if anything, Matthew always called him back up just to even the playing field with Simon, as little furball was known to not playing fair. I stood there for a small second, listening to the distant sounds of Matthew running around and crashing into things. Thanks to Simon, no doubt, flabbergasted. To my dismay, Simon's antics and the odd change in Matthew's behavior didn't end there. At one point, it apparently grew to its worst. What does that mean? Matthew was baking again in the kitchen. The smell of sugar and vanilla practically invaded my senses as I walked into the room. I was more excited to see my incubus meticulously measuring our ingredients. A part of me wondered why he didn't become a baker or a pastry chef. I guess he was happy working for his brother in the toy company. Some of the part of Matthew made me smile a bit, knowing that he was helping my grandfather's company grow. I shook up my thoughts and let sweet air completely consume them, lost in the guesses roaming in my mind of what Matthew could have been making. That smells good, Matthew.
Huh? Thanks. I'm almost done. I'm just looking for... Simon!
Simon! Matthew, watch out!
Huh? Ah!
What the hell just happened? Simon was off running around again, his toy knife in one paw, a small cake-like square pastry in the other. Despite the bluntness of the toy knife, the gleam of it causing us to duck and weave out of its natural instinct. It only helped to precede Simon to flee his crime scene and ushered Matthew to fall in rage.
I swear to God, Simon!
Matthew, hold on! One arm on Matthew's urged him to stop and listen, despite the red flash that had proceeded to paint over his face from building anger in his body. I had to admit, it was adorable to see him angry, but I didn't want to become a volcano of rage thanks to Simon. That's Sam's job. What did he take? We can just get or make more.
Huh? No, it's fine. I just need to get him. It's okay.
Matthew, just tell me what it is. What is it? At that moment, the red flush in Matthew's face instantly paled as he almost looked to almost looked white as snow, in shock and fear? Huh? Oh god, what the fuck? It only lasted for a moment before his entire body almost began to glow, and in a thrill of blue tint, and his eyes began to flicker gold.
Ah, Simon!
The singular noise of Simon's caused my incubus to rush out in the kitchen. Without answering me, it sprinted across the mansion towards the sound. I followed close behind, barely able to keep up with Matthew's speed. What is Matthew doing? That's kind of weird that he's not really, like, telling what's going on. When we arrived outside the backyard, Matthew skidded to a stop, body completely fridged. I rushed up behind him to look over his shoulder, wondering what froze him so stiffly. At the base of the gazebo sat Simon, crumbs surrounding his body as he licked his lips joyfully. His tail swung back and forth in victory as Matthew fell to his knees in some sort of humiliated defeat. Matthew, what's wrong? The look on Matthew's face was completely upset and bursting at the seams of anger. Oh, what happened? What? However, I could tell that Matthew was holding himself back from straight out, doing something stupid. Matthew knew better than to let the anger control him. I, however, did not appreciate Simon's games pushing him to that limit. I glared at the white doll and stepped forward, catching Simon's attention. Unlike Matthew, Simon would remain obedient with me. I didn't want to be harsh, but I had to give him some sort of punishment for eating Matthew's pastry. I grabbed Simon by the scruff of his neck, causing him to squeak, and lifted up to my eye level. You are in very deep trouble, Simon. Simon let out another squeak, but didn't fight back as I marched him straight back into the mansion, into the dining room, where a nice cage sat at the end of the dinner table. Inside were many things to keep Simon occupied, but it was indeed where he would remain until later. I opened the cage and gently placed him inside, quickly slipping my hand out and locking the door so he couldn't escape. Simon looked at me with a blank expression before almost shrugging and hopping onto the hamster wheel inside. You're not coming out until Matthew says so, alright? Despite my questions, Simon kept running in the hamster wheel, causing me to sigh and return to Matthew. Matthew had come back inside and was sitting on the steps of the grand staircase, still looking very down about the situation. I grimaced and lifted his head slightly, almost heartbreaking at the sight of his puppy eyes. Hey, how about we go to the Pink Lady Cafe for a bit, My treat. Matthew remained silent for a moment before nodding and standing. He wasn't smiling yet, but at least he wasn't completely downtrodden. What happened to Matthew? What? I don't like this. When we arrived, we ordered our favorite treats and sat down at the tables. The cafe was recently renovated to look like more modern and definitely showed the decor. Despite this, Matthew still didn't look like he was feeling any better. Hey, Pink Lady Cafe, you guys should play that game that Michaela put out for Valentine's Day. Valentine Panic. I'll put a link to my Let's Play if you haven't seen it. Matthew, Simon's in the cage. It's alright now.
Well, I mean, it is, but it isn't.
What do you mean? Alright. Matthew bit his lip and dug a bit into the strawberry cake, refusing to answer. I could only press my lips together in irritation. What was Matthew hiding from me? Matthew. He lifted his head and looked at me. Please tell me, what did Simon take from you? Another moment of silence passed before Matthew sighed and slouched back in his chair. What surprised me was his face brightened to a pink peach.
It's a ring.
Huh? Huh?
It's a ring.
What? Matthew, I don't understand what you're saying.
It's a ring, okay? It's a ring. A proposal ring.
Oh, it's so cute. So this is before they got married. Oh, Matthew, you're so cute. What?
I found a gold ring in Simon's stash when he dug up trinkets from your grandfather's study, and it seemed to be the same size as other rings you have, and hey, maybe it was in the family heirloom or something, so I wanted to use it in a cake to propose to you, but Simon apparently got mad that I took it, so he's been screwing up my plans, and...
Matthew, hold on. Matthew's face was red as a tomato at this point, but he looked at me, digging himself into the shirt and sweater like a shy turtle. I could tell that he was holding back from imploding somehow, but he stared, stopping himself from rambling further. I myself wasn't sure how to handle this. He wanted to propose to me with the ring that he found in the house, and Simon pretty much ate the ring. He ate the cake, pastry it was hiding in and hid from me and Matthew. Still, Matthew wanted to propose? Could not help but hear my heartbeat escalate in a rapid tempo in my chest. I was beyond happy and joyful despite not being asked yet and despite the situation Matthew was in. I was more than excited for the future ahead. I felt my eyes start to water and a smile grew on my face, stretching wide in pure joy. Matthew's eyes widened at the sight and he straightened up in a bit worried.
Hey, are you okay?
You sweet child! Oh my god! Matthew! I rubbed my eyes and face, trying to calm down from the ever-growing excitement. Matthew hadn't proposed just yet, and the surprise was in essence ruined, but I was beyond thrilled to know that we were going to take those steps in our relationship. I lowered my hands at last and grinned at Matthew. I love you so much, Matthew. Matthew stared at me, completely dumbfounded. I didn't want to mention his proposal plans anymore, not wanting to rush his day any further. So I simply laid out my love, hoping that he would understand my intent. I was willing to wait as long as it took him to make things perfect. Matthew finally smiled and laughed a bit.
I love you too.
He's so cute, look at him. Adorable. The air around us finally eased and we were back to the journey's energy we shared so proudly as a couple. Matthew ate with a little bit excited vigor. As I watched, thoughts of the future spiraling in my head. I guess you'll be finding another way to propose to me, huh? Matthew took a moment and nodded to himself with a chuckle.
Well, my first plan was ruined by Simon. I have to try something else and really sweep you off your feet.
Aww, Matthew, you already do. Matthew blushed and chuckled a bit, stuffing a piece of pastry in his mouth before swallowing it in pride.
I promise to make you the happiest person in the world.
Aw, so
okay?
Sweet. I know you will. Yay, that was so cute. I love it. That was adorable. So I wasn't sure if this was like before or after Seduce Me, too. So that's nice that he got a proposal as well. So I think the last boy is Damien that doesn't have an episode yet, right? So I know Michaela's working on like other Seduce Me episodes, so they'll come out in the future. So I look forward to that. But that was really cute. I really liked Matthew's. That was so adorable. And then he found a ring in our house, and it belonged to the grandfather, and it was just like, oh, that's so adorable. Anyway, so yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to join the companions, and let me know what you thought about Matthew's episode, because that was really cute. And also, if you want to download the game yourself, there's a link in the description. If you want to support Michaela Laws, who's the creator of this game, there's a link to her Patreon and her other stuff as well, if you want to go and check that out. Also, if you guys haven't seen any of the routes that I've done for Matthew, I'll have a link to the playlist for Seduce Me 1 and 2, and if you want to see the other episodes as well, I have that too. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I love you, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!
Oh!
I have like the two white.
Spoiler alert!
I don't fucking know.
Because Ignis goes that's what happens then.
It's really sad that Ignis
Oh no! Good vlog, aren't you guys like glad you're subscribed to me? Oh my god. Such an entertaining person.